Hello, Meoni here, and welcome back to another news video for Final Fantasy XIV. Those of you, like myself, have been enjoying the official Dawntrail benchmark to its fullest extent, creating multitudes of characters, filling up our saved slots to use on future female Hrothgar, things like that, seeing what our characters will look like in Dawntrail, getting the absolute most out of the benchmark software than probably we have ever got before. However, there have been some very valid criticisms, some of which have been answered within this Lodestone post from Naoki Yoshida, the producer and director of Final Fantasy XIV today. So let's read through this then and see exactly what they're going to do with said feedback. First of all, Yoshi P says, "Hello everyone, this is Naoki Yoshida, the producer and director of Final Fantasy XIV. I would like to thank you all for your feedback regarding the recently released Dawntrail benchmark. While we have received positive feedback and reactions from players, we have also seen others express their concerns. Therefore, I would like to share the current situation regarding these factors. So there are a couple of points. The first point is on character creation system in the benchmark. The second point is issues related to certain data and processes, and also a correction and replacement of the benchmark is the third point. So yes, we are going to get that changed. First of all then, for character creation system in the benchmark. The character creation system was created over 10 years ago, says Yoshi P, based on the released version of A Realm Reborn. Although it used the same processes as the actual game, certain aspects such as weather were combined to create special conditions exclusive to character creation. This was done to present the texture resolutions and shaders at their best based on the quality standards at the time, which also included the PlayStation 3 version. Furthermore, its light sources take advantage of backlighting, which in this case proved detrimental for showcasing the upcoming graphical update. The character creation environment should have been updated, but was overlooked as we prioritized the development of Dawntrail and tuning the graphical update in the actual game, for which I would like to apologize. We are currently expediting a rework of the environments and light sources of character creation for both the actual game and the benchmark. Once that is complete, the current benchmark will be replaced. The following points are some of the factors that will be resolved by applying the graphical update of the actual game to the character creation system. The first of these points, A, lifeless eyes due to a lack of highlights in the pupils. B, facial contours appearing flattened due to incorrect lighting conditions caused by the backlighting. And C, a lack of gloss or excessive appearance of gloss due to character creation exclusive weather conditions, i.e. they use as an example here the use of thunderclouds. The special conditions, they say, created for the existing character creation system are largely responsible for the points outlined above. Changing these settings would greatly improve the situation, and I would appreciate it if you could bear with us as we work on updating the benchmark. So that's their first major point. Essentially, a lot of the criticism that was given was that most of the characters created didn't really look the same as in the character creation as they do in the actual benchmark trailer itself once you have your character selected and created. And that's something that has been a criticism for Final Fantasy XIV's character creator for a long time. It's mostly due to lighting. Sometimes it can affect things like the shade of a person's hair. You might think that you've chosen a specific type of blonde, and then you go in the game and suddenly your character is a redhead. It has happened, and it is something they need to address, and I'm glad that this has been the push to finally push them that way. But at the same time, you know, the benchmark is a great thing, and I'm glad they've been prioritizing the full game over it. But again, you know, if they want to update the benchmark, that is awesome to hear. So, point 2, issues related to certain data and processes. Based on the wide range of feedback on the official forums and social media, we were able to pinpoint a number of issues in the data and certain processes which manifested due to the need to modify an enormous amount of data. I sincerely apologize for the inconvenience, he says, these issues have caused. Naturally, these issues are steadily being addressed as we finalize our development of Dawntrail. However, these issues remained in the benchmark benchmark due to a simple data-related errors or neglecting to reflect the upcoming changes to the benchmark environment. The following are examples of issues which fall into this category. Point A, an issue with unimplemented high-resolution textures, including those for certain playable races. So you might have seen some of the ears, for example, on Vieira not matching with hair. That is one of those issues. So just rest assured that was not intentional, and they made a bit of an error there, so that should be fixed. Point B, an issue pertaining to special data processors. Issue C, an issue with necklines for playable races under certain circumstances. For example, certain characters, if you looked at them with certain face options, actually, they had a line of where the head connects to the neck, and it was actually separated. That is not intentional either. Point D, an issue with uncorrected scaling for the mouth of certain playable races. This is something else I actually saw on Vieira as well, where the mouths were slightly changed for some reason. So the scaling is certainly something that they don't want you to think is permanent. So just bear that in mind. They say the above issues can be corrected, and I would appreciate it if you could bear with us until they are resolved. Naturally, these issues will be addressed in the release version of Dawntrail. So not necessarily will these changes here listed be in the updated benchmark. So bear that in mind. Whilst they are updating the benchmark to fix these issues above on point 1, the point 2 ones might not be fixed in the new version of the benchmark. So bear that in mind. So if you still have strange textures for ears or a neckline that seems separated, that is not final. It will not look like that eventually. But of course, they might fix it for the benchmark update, but there's no guarantee, which is why they have this separate issue point. So bear that in point. And of course, the third point is the correction and replacement of the Dawntrail benchmark. In order to resolve the points outlined in 1 and 2, Yoshi P says, we are planning for a replacement of the benchmark software. As we require some time to investigate the issues and reconstruct the benchmark environment, the timing and further details of a replacement will be announced later. We will also continue to make adjustments which will incorporate as much of your feedback as possible into the revision of the benchmark, as well as the release version of Dawntrail. They say here in brackets, due to different release dates, however, there are likely to be some differences between the benchmark software and the release version, so bear that in mind. Yoshi P says, my apologies for asking you to bear with us as we address the points of concern. The team and I will continue doing our best for the graphical update and Dawntrail's release, and we would appreciate your continued support. Naoki Yoshida, the producer and director of Final Fantasy XIV. Honestly, the benchmark is incredible. I'm glad they've taken the feedback on board. A lot of the issues that people had seem to have been addressed in here. The one thing that is strange, unless point A of issue 2 is also including moon cats, as in the moon of the moon Mikote with the fangs being replaced by normal teeth. Maybe that's something to do with the textures, but I would have liked an extra point specifying that. The scaling for the mouth, maybe it's that? I don't know. Which one does that come under? Is that something that may be addressed? It's very likely then that we probably won't see that changed if they do decide to revert that change to Mooncats until the actual release of Dawntrail itself then. If point 1 and 2 do make it into some form of updated benchmark. Again, I think a lot of the actual feedback to do with the character creator is much more important across the board. Character creation is very key to especially when it costs you money to redesign a lot of those features with a Fantasia that you have to purchase. It is important to get character creation right. So people's feedback is absolutely, all of it has been absolutely wonderful to see when people have been constructive. And I'm glad they've made this announcement and they've addressed the points. I would like some more detail. Hopefully that's something we can have a follow-up on. Maybe they can go into further detail about all of the changes, or at least some of the bullet points could be extended a little bit more. But honestly, this is really good feedback, and I'm glad they're listening to the concerns that we have for Dawntrail. So hopefully we can help make this a much better expansion and enjoy many years to go with the character changes that they make now, saving them time in the future. Anyway, let me know what you think about this. Reply if your feedback has been addressed by this, or if there's something that's still something that's on your mind. I know a lot of people have talked about the fangs, which they didn't mention, but that could be included in one of these points. But again, they didn't go into too much detail, which is something I would love to see more of. Anyway, any more updates and information we get in terms of Dawntrail, or of course this particular issue, we'll be sure to do a video on it, and most likely we'll be doing another benchmark character creation video, because this has invalidated the current one we have done videos on. Absolutely. Anyway, much love, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you all next time.